Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Red Dead Redemption 2 video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about something I've been pondering for a bit, and that is the idea, what if Arthur Morgan took the deal with Agent Milton early on in Chapter 2 when he goes to take Jack Marston fishing? So in case you guys have no idea what I'm talking about, maybe you skipped this cutscene, maybe it's just something that you didn't think about all that much. When Arthur is fishing with Jack Marston, in the middle of their fishing trip, he's approached by Agent Milton and Agent Ross of the Pinkerton National Detective Agency. And alongside asking him a series of questions, Agent Milton offers Arthur a deal. Take a listen to this.
Hey, look at this.
What?
This necklace I made.
Necklace?
For Mama.
Sure.
What a fine young man. And in such complex circumstances. Arthur, isn't it? Arthur Morgan?
Who are you?
Yes, Arthur Morgan. Vanderlin's most trusted associate. You've read the files. Typical case. Orphaned street kid seduced by that maniac's silver tongue and matures into a degenerate murderer. Agent Milton? Agent Ross. Pinkerton Detective Agency, seconded to the United States government. Nice to finally meet. We know a lot about you.
Do you?
You're a wanted man, Mr. Morgan. There's $5,000 for your head alone.
$5,000? For me? Can I turn myself in?
We want Vanderlinde.
Old Dutch. I haven't seen him for months.
That's so. Because I heard a guy fitting his description robbed a train belonging to Leviticus Cornwall up near Granite Pass.
Oh, ain't that a little old-fashioned nowadays?
Apparently not. Listen. This is my offer, Mr. Morgan. Bring in Vanderlinde, and you have my word you won't swing.
Oh, I ain't gonna swing anyways, Agent
Milton.
You see, I haven't done anything wrong, aside from not playing the games to your rules.
Spare me the philosophy lesson. I've already heard it from Mac Callender.
Mac Callender?
He was pretty shot up by the time I got to him. So really, it was more of a mercy killing. Slow, but merciful.
You enjoy being a rich man's toy, dear.
I enjoy society, flaws and all. You people venerate savagery, and you will die. Savagely, all of you.
Oh, we're all gonna die, Agent.
Some of us sooner than others. Good day, Mr. Morgan.
Goodbye.
Enjoy your fishing, kid, while you still can.
Who are they?
No one to worry about, no one at all. Come on, let's pick up your things and get home.
Okay, so there was a lot going on in that conversation, but the things that I got out of it. Number one, Arthur Morgan is wanted for $5,000. That is a large amount of money. That's a large amount of money in 2019, but in 1899, that would be today's equivalent of over $150,000. That's an insane amount of money right there. So you can see that the price on Arthur Morgan's head is insane. And basically, Agent Milton gives him a deal, is that he gets to live and go free if he hands over Dutch Vanderlinde. Basically, that's all that Agent Milton cares about, is Dutch Vanderlinde. So before I talk about the possible outcomes, I also want to look at the only other time that Agent Milton and the Pinkertons actually deal with the gang. It happens at the very end of Chapter 3 when once again Agent Milton and Agent Ross return to camp and they basically say, you know, this is the deal we're going to present you.
Hey, Dutch, we got a problem.
Not a problem. Visitors. A solution. Good day, fine people. Mr. Vanderlinde, Mr. Matthews, I presume. And who are you?
Rip Van Winkle.
Huh. Good day, sir. Agent Milton, Pinkerton Detective Agency. Agent Ross. Ah, Mr. Morgan, nice to see you again.
And to what do we owe the pleasure, Agent Moron?
I don't know if you're aware, but this is a civilized land now. We didn't kill all them savages only to allow the likes of you to act like human dignity and basic decency was outmoded or not yet invented. This thing, it's done.
This place ain't no such thing as civilized. It's man, so in love with greed, he has forgotten himself and found only appetites.
And as a consequence, that lets you take what you please, kill whom you please, and hang the rest of us? Who made you the messiah to these lost souls you've led so horribly astray?
I'm nothing but a seeker, Mr. Milton.
You ain't much of anything more than a killer, Mr. Van der Linde. But I came to make a deal. It's time. You come with me, and I give the rest of you 3 days to run off, disappear, and go and live like human beings someplace else.
You came for me? Risk life and limb in this den of lowlifes and murderers so that they might live and love? Ain't that fine?
I don't want to kill all these folk, Dutch. Just you.
In that case, it'd be my honor to join you. Excuse me, friends. I have an appointment to keep with...
I think your new friend should leave now, Dutch.
You're making a big mistake. All of you.
Yeah, dreadful. We have got something. Something to live and die for. How awful for us. Mr. Milton, stop following us. We'll be gone soon.
I'm afraid I can't. And when I return, I'll be with 50 men. All of you will die. Run away from this place, you fools! Run!
Come on.
Get your damn hands off of me, boy.
So in this deal, if Dutch were to have gone with the Pinkertons, what Agent Milton and Agent Ross would have let them do is basically given everyone 3 days to get out of sight, get lost, and go live like normal humans, and they wouldn't pursue them any longer. And we know that Dutch was like trying to take that deal, but really he was just trying to set an example that the family bond of the gang was way too strong and that they weren't going to let him be taken. So now that you know the deal that Agent Milton offered, let's talk about all the scenarios. What would happen if Arthur Morgan took the deal? Well, if he did, it's pretty obvious that the Pinkertons, Agent Milton, and Agent Ross would go after Dutch Van der Linde. Now, there's also a good chance that some other members of the gang would go down with them, likely more of the senior members. Really the only 3 that the Pinkertons seem to know about, at least by that point in time in Chapter 2, is Arthur, Hosea, and Dutch. So I would imagine that it would be Dutch and Hosea taken down, whereas the rest of them, they don't really care about. I can guarantee the Pinkerton agents don't care about the ladies of the gang. They don't care about, Mr. Pearson. At that time, Bill Williamson is not an outlaw. He doesn't have his own gang. Maybe they would try and go for Micah, especially with what he did in Strawberry, where he sort of went on that rampage. So basically what would happen is Dutch would go down, Hosea would go down because they knew who he was, and that's about it. Everyone else would probably be free. So I can almost guarantee you they would spare John Marston, the ladies of the gang, Abigail, Sadie Adler, Jack would obviously live. So when you start to weigh the pros and cons, you would think that the only significant loss would be Hosea Matthews, because we know that his heart is in the right place. We know that Dutch's loss at the time would be bad, but obviously we know what happens at the end of the game, and we certainly know what happens in Red Dead Redemption, the first game. He goes insane. He goes crazy. So even though Arthur would have been betraying Dutch, it would have made a lot of sense and would have saved a ton of lives. Like if you start to think about all the lives that would have been saved, you start with Lenny. His life would have been saved. Same with Sean. Same with Karen, the O'Driscoll. Same with Hosea. He wouldn't have been shot later on in the story by Agent Milton. So a lot of lives would have been saved. And on top of that, Arthur Morgan's life would have been saved too. Arthur would have lived, because if he had taken this deal, he wouldn't have had to go visit Thomas Downs because he no longer would have been doing the loan sharking for Leopold Strauss. So that's another thing to consider as well, is that Arthur would have saved his own life by doing this. Now, that's certainly not the only outcome to Agent Milton's deal. The next outcome I could see is that the Pinkertons betray Arthur. That not only do they go after Dutch and the rest of the gang, but they also go back on their word and they go after Arthur Morgan as well. That's basically the lose-lose situation there, where Arthur says he was going to give up Dutch. He does, but then the Pinkertons betray them. Now, this would not be the first time that the Pinkertons would betray a member of the Van der Linde gang. I'm sure you guys know the outcome of Red Dead Redemption by now, but in case you don't, John was basically working for the Pinkertons in the government, and they told him once he had killed all of his former gang members that he would be allowed to return to his family. Well, we know that's not the case, as they eventually came knocking at his ranch and they wanted his life too. So the Pinkertons cannot be trusted, and I think Arthur was smart to not trust them here. And the ultimate lose-lose-lose scenario would be Arthur getting betrayed by the Pinkertons still taking in Dutch, but also killing the rest of the members of the gang, just being so ruthless that they kill men, women, and children of the Van der Linde gang. So overall, I think the reason that Arthur did not take the deal from Agent Milton, even though at the end he realizes he was a fool, number one, it was way too risky. Of all the possibilities I mentioned, what if Agent Milton killed people that he cared about, which at the time was almost everyone, aside from Micah and maybe a couple of others. But number two, Arthur's loyalty was still intact. Even through the Blackwater massacre and everything we had seen in Coulter up until that point, Arthur was still confident that Dutch was the man that he grew up with and that raised him. So I think those are the two predominant factors right there. But it would have been an interesting sort of butterfly effect to see. If Arthur had taken the deal with the Pinkertons, would he himself become a Pinkerton? Would he have just gone back to California or somewhere out west and lived a normal life? Would this allowed him to run away with Mary Linton? There's so many different possibilities here, and it is really interesting to think about. So that's why I wanted to cover it in this video today. Obviously, nothing like that happens in the story, but it is fun to imagine what could have been, since that basically was Arthur's get-out-of-jail-free card, no pun intended. So as always with discussion-heavy videos like this, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. If you were Arthur, would you have taken the deal? Would you have remained loyal? And overall, what do you think would happen if Arthur took the deal? Would Agent Milton and the Pinkertons keep their word? Would they betray him? Let me know your thoughts, opinions, and more in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you guys down there. If you did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new, or you like daily Red Dead Redemption 2 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.